What's going on YouTube? This is Clayster bringing you another recap video. I tend to do these after every tournament. I like to go through every single match, every single map, let you guys know my thoughts and feelings on them. If I can remember them, since we played so many maps this tournament, this past regionals tournament in Columbus, that it's going to be a little more difficult. It's going to be a little long, so guys, bear with me here. If you don't like my recap videos, I'm sure there's plenty of other ones out there you can watch. So basically, that snowstorm hit the East Coast on Thursday. Got snowed in with like a foot of snow. Couldn't make it out. Ended up leaving on Friday. I was following my girlfriend to her work, and then we were going to drive from her car to Columbus from her work since she had to work on Monday. She ended up popping 2 of her tires on the way. Bent the rims as well, so we had to get completely new wheels and tires, which took an extra long time. I ended up not getting into Columbus until about 9 or 10 at night. We played the Mexican team, Aztec Gaming. Beat them pretty handedly, kind of just goofing around the whole time. No offense to them, but it was pretty easy. I mean, it is a non-North American team, which generally tend to be easier if they're not one of the top European teams. Then we went on to play TR the next day. They ended up 3-0ing us. They beat us on retreat hard point by like a couple points. I wasn't rotating correctly on the gold hill and their bar hill. The LMG kind of got us. They beat us on Detroit S&D due to a couple clutch rounds they had. Nagafan had that really clutch round. They had another really clutch one against me where I almost 1v3'd them. Got it to a one-on-one and then ended up dying. And then we played on Biolab uplink where we just let him get up too much. It went up 8-1 on good side. Aqua kept flanking us, and we didn't realize it. I thought he was coming through ice on Biolab, but he was actually coming through our green plat. They ended up beating us 3-0, which was a pretty tough loss for us. We were pretty upset about it, to qualify for regionals. Get knocked into the losers bracket, and then had to play XGN. We 3-0'd them pretty easily. Beat them on Detroit hardpoint, recovery search, and then finished them off on a CTF or uplink. I think it was comeback uplink, actually, we finished them off on. Then we moved on to Rise, who we had a really solid comeback on Biolab hardpoint. They were ahead by like 100 points with about 2.5 hills left to go. And we ended up coming back and beating them by a few points. They choked the map pretty hard, and it solidified the win for us. Went into second map. We lost Solar Search and Destroy. Diabolic had a really huge game. And then the next 2 games, it was kind of objective-based games, which is what we're better at. We ended up beating them on both those maps, winning 3-1, total score right there. And on the Detroit uplink was the last map, and we ended up winning 4-3. We went up 4-1 when we were on school side, and then didn't get a single point pushing school side, and ended up winning 4-3. It's a really close game, but we ended up beating them to qualify for champs right there. Pretty solid game from us. And then moving on to the Prof game. We had a really intense solar hardpoint versus Prof. Me and Mochilla each dropping 47, but we ended up closing out the ending seconds of that match right there. We came down the last hill. We ended up winning by like 3 or 4. Really cool win for us. A really fun win to play, and I just really enjoyed the game that we had against Mochilla and Prophecy. It was just like a battle of who could get, the scrap time on the hill, who could get, the little time on the hill. It was a really fun game to play against them. Then we played them on Riot Search and Destroy. We ended up clutching up a 2v4 5-5 last round. We blew a lead that we had on them, ended up winning 2v4 last round. Really clutch plays from us on defense. Me and Replays had a really solid game, and then we ended up going to CTF Biolab, which we ended up winning like 10-3 or something. I think we got the most points on that map that anybody's ever gotten. It was a lot of fun. Winning 3-0 against those guys. They have a lot of work to do, but they are a really solid team. The 3-0 doesn't really show how close those games actually were. And then we moved on to play Team Caliber. Now, the CK match was a really good match. We played them at Season 1 playoffs, and it was a really good match. We 3-0'd them there, but they were all really close. So I was really expecting a good game from these guys. And we played them first map, Detroit hardpoint, and they slammed us. They beat us really good. They just were out winning gunfights on the hill. I dropped 40 holding spawns, which is really what you need from your bow player, but we just weren't winning those gunfights in the hill, so that was kind of the issue. Moved on to the second map, which was Riot Search, and we ended up almost blowing another 5-2 or something lead. Ended up closing it out versus them due to Attach getting some really nice opening kills in that final round on Search Riot. And then went to comeback uplink, where we had a really sloppy comeback uplink. We kind of played it really badly, and we ended up taking them to overtime and winning in overtime with a score in about a minute. Some really intense moments in that game that really could have gone either way. Fortunately, they went in our favor. I think at the very end of regulation, they could have went for a dunk. They had about 3 seconds to go for a dunk and win the game. They decided to just toss the one in to make sure they get the get to overtime, tie up the game. And I don't know what's really wrong with my voice, guys. I'm sorry. Really close game that we ended up winning in overtime to go up 2-1. Played him on the last map, Ascent CTF, which is one of our worst CTF maps. Ended up closing out for Sam on that as well because we just basically held map control the whole time and made some really big plays in their base to get some flags out and ended up winning the game for us. And it was a big match for us because we really, really wanted to beat TK just to get to TR. That TR team we played in the winners second round. We played again, and after this match versus TK, and ended up 3-0ing them back. We beat them on retreat hardpoint, which is what they beat us on the first time. We beat them on Biolab S&D, which I knew exactly what they did on Biolab S&D due to watching their Season 2 relegation match versus ON. I literally hard countered them for about 4 rounds in a row, and we won like 6-2 or 6-3 or something like that. But we were literally just hard countering them over and over because I was just calling out plays where I knew exactly what they were going to do. And then we went into the last map. I can't even really remember what. Oh no, it was Uplink Detroit, and me and Cap were just slaying the hell out of out of TR. And sorry about my dogs barking, guys. Somebody just got home. We literally just outslayed them on Detroit. Uplink, me and Cap were just slaying 2-3 pieces all day. Ended up beating them pretty handedly and advancing to the next round, which was ON. And we played ON. We were kind of excited about this match. Killa and it always has some great banter, and I'm really good friends with TP. So we've been talking about this matchup coming into it, and played first map, which was Solar Hardpoint versus ON, and they really didn't have a BAL player to compete with me, and I kind of just took hold of map control, and they really couldn't do much about it. I really caught fire near the end. We had some really good hills towards the end and ended up closing those maps. I think on hill 4 and 5, we took like 100 points on each of those, 120 available. And really, you take 100 points off 2 hills, so the total of 4 hills giving you 200 points, and you can't really do much about that. They got to learn how to scrap those hill betters. And then we played second map was Recovery, Search, and Destroy. And as you know, that map has been taken out now and replaced by Drift. But we were saving a bunch of our strats for Recovery Search. We used them against XGN, and then we decided not to use them against ON since they were on stream. And they ended up beating us on that map just because we were kind of like, push the street, or just everybody run here. And we weren't using any of our strats because we were going to save them for champs, but it ended up kind of backfiring in a way since they took out Recovery Search for Drift Search. But regardless, we had some really good strats that we were saving on that match that we actually didn't pull out. And but didn't pull out. And then we went on a third map, which was Biolab CTF. And mainly on this map, what happened was it was really, really tight game until about the final 2 minutes. And then they started getting a little frantic and overextending and not playing the map correctly, which allowed us to get a couple caps that literally were just one-on-one gunfights. Whereas on the map, on Biolab, you kind of want to be double teaming, triple teaming people. And when they spread the map like that and go one-on-one, it literally comes down to one-on-one gunfights, which is clutching up. And we just clutched up on them and ended up blowing the game open, winning like 5-2 or 5-3 or something like that, beating them on that map. And then we went to last map, which is come back uplink, and we kind of just gave it to them. As I said, they have some a good BAL on that team with Karma, but he's been running the subs. So on like comeback uplink, they really didn't have good enough BAL presence against me to really shut me down, and they really just couldn't get control of the map at all. And we ended up just keep rolling on them, getting in the face of subs as I'm BALing from afar, and ended up closing out that game 3-1 against Owen to move on to the losers finals. And now this losers finals match is against FaZe Red. And we've played FaZe Red before. We played them at Season 1 playoffs, and we beat them there, I think, 3-1. They beat us on Recovery Search, and then we took the other 3 respawns. But we played them on at this time, and we played them, I think the first map was Biolab Hardpoint, and they ended up taking that one from us. They got 100 points off the first hill total. Like I said, when you're getting 100 points off a single hill, it's kind of difficult for the other team, unless they have a really, really great hill, to come back into the game. And Haggy had a really good use of the shotgun. Slasher was doing a really good job with the BAL. They ended up beating us on that map. And we went on to the next match, which was a Solar Search and Destroy. And what I want to point out about Search in this game is how it is literally all clutching up. Search in this game, with how quick the exo movement is, how quick you can get 2 pieces if you play it right, literally comes down to clutching up. And we clutched up versus them way more than they clutched up versus us. I think we won like 2 2v3s, a 3v4, a 1v2, another 1v2. Like, we were just winning like clutching after clutch after clutch after clutch. And it's kind of hard when you get momentum from clutching to stop the next clutch. And it was really just a little difficult for them to gain any momentum back after we took a couple 2v3, 3v4 rounds. It kind of kills your mentality when you're losing rounds that you have man advantage on. And so we ended up winning that Solar Search pretty handedly, like 6-1 or 6-2. Cool 2v1 in that one. Definitely go check that out. And then we played them on a 10 CTF, and this match was really close. It was back and forth. I think we went down 2 caps, ended up going up a cap, 3-2, and then they tied it right at the end with Enable really getting a clutch kill on me in our base with about a minute to go. I was top of our base, and I ended up picking one up. Enable had a really good reaction time, ended up picking me up, and they got a tying cap from it, sending it into overtime. And then Dylan just went absolutely beast mode, attached, literally just won us the game. He went to their base, pulled a counter cap while they were pulling ours elevators. We ended up stopping our flag. He won a huge one-on-one with Aches to get a return, and then we ended up capping that flag. And then on the second side, he literally just gunned Parasite and Aches one after another, winning gunfights that you shouldn't win, but his reaction time was just on point. Winning it, with 2 caps in overtime, one on good side, one on bad side, and then winning the game for us. And we went on to comeback uplink. No, yeah, it was not comeback uplink. It was Detroit uplink, and we played it really well. I wouldn't say we dominated them, but we really played it well, just like holding map control, making sure that they weren't pushing up on us too much, mid-map control, garage control, elbow control, all that good stuff, and literally just held map control and then got the points we needed to, pushing as a team to their cap, getting a cap, backing up, doing it over and over again, and they just couldn't seem to get any like their feet in the ground and just hold still, and we just were picking them off, winning that series 3-1. Huge losers bracket run from us, beating teams, Rise, Prof, TK, TR, ON, FaZe Red. Beating most of the teams. The only teams we really didn't play or beat were FaZe Black, AR, and Envy. So 3 of the top, 12 teams are the only ones who didn't play. Going into the match versus Optic Gaming, we were really, really confident in this match. We played Retreat Hardpoint, which is our first map, and I was honestly really excited to play this game versus them. I thought we had what it takes to take them the distance. And we got 3-0'd, but it really didn't show the story of the game. They were up by about 100 points in Retreat Hardpoint, like 117-17 or something like that. Casters were already calling the game. We ended up having a really cool comeback on him. Replays had some really clutch kills. He went off for a while there. And we literally came down to this one gunfight. If you go back and watch the VOD, I was the rotation from the second to last hill. I ran from court, saw a guy coming up circle steps, jumped back circle, and I turned around and was waiting on him to come. I was in the air. Formal jumps in the air. Easy shot for me. I was predicting him, and I accidentally clicked in my right thumbstick, and I slammed on the ground, and he ended up killing me, which gave his team that back spawn, and it spawned us all the way out dub. And so literally this one kill that I accidentally slammed in changed the entire game when it came down to it. So a mistake on my part, but it definitely... Everybody makes mistakes. Who can ever make the least mistakes? And ended up beating us by about 7 points on that. We had a nice break on the attic kill. I ended up not holding it because we called out the spawn wrong. Just a lot of missed opportunities that we had versus Optic right there. We called the spawn wrong at the end with about 20 seconds left, and it prevented me from getting a 2-piece. I only got one of them, and that second guy ended up helping break, and it really just sucked. That minor mistakes lost us that game, and then we went into the second map, which really made me mad. Biolab S&D, and we had a great showing on this map, taking them all the way to round 11 and getting first blood in the round 11, and ended up couldn't clutch it out, ended up losing the 4v3 last round. I full flanked on offense all the way through green. Krim was in the pit like circle and heard me boosting, so he knew nobody was watching square, and he pushed square and got a flank on my teammates. They just weren't set up ready yet, so I just know now, and hey, now if I'm flanking, don't boost at all. I didn't know they could hear you from inside circle from that far away through that many walls, but I guess they can. So they ended up winning 6-5 that match, which was kind of a heartbreaker. Those two, one after another, 7 points, 6-5. And then going into the last map, which is uplink Detroit, we literally just let them get too far ahead. We didn't capitalize on their mistakes enough, and they capitalized on ours better than we capitalized on theirs. And it was really just... we let them get ahead too early. And on Detroit uplink, when they get ahead and they go to that second side, any opportunity they get, they're just tossing that ball up, saving themselves 15, 16, 17 seconds. Even more, so you can basically eat up time by just throwing that up there and holding map control, which is kind of lame. We do it all the time as well, but, that's the strategy of Detroit uplink. A lot of the uplinks, too, if you know all the spots. But... It kind of sucks, you can't really let a team get ahead on Detroit uplink just because that's going to happen. That's what we do. You get ahead and then you just play ball spawn. So it sucks. We lost 3-0, but we had a really, really good losers bracket run. We played the most maps in that tournament by far out of anybody. We did lose a CTF this past weekend, and it was really good land practice. The prize for this event really wasn't that much. All that really mattered was getting a top 2 seed to not have another North American in your pool, and that's what we ended up doing. We got a second seed. We beat a lot of good teams coming through the losers bracket, which really showed the tenacity of our team, and it really showed the selflessness of everybody on this team. Me, Cap, Attach, and Replays all just do what it takes to win, and that's it. We're not worried about our stats. We're not worried about our KD, what the map count is. We're doing what it takes to win the one gunfight, that one rotation, that one hill that'll eventually build up into winning that map, which will eventually build into a lead, which eventually builds into closing out a series. And so I really enjoyed the land practice I got with these guys this past weekend. I think it's really going to help going into champs. We've played the most maps out of anybody in any tournament in a long time. We literally just grinded and grinded and grinded one match after another, and ended up making it all the way back to the finals to play OG again. And if you compare our performances from Season 1 playoffs to the regionals, you can see the difference in the 3-0s that happened against us from OG. In the Season 1, we kind of got blown out except for the search. Blew out in the hard point, blew out in the CTF, a 6-5 search again. But then to this one where we're losing by 7 points in the hard point, 3 points in the uplink, 6-5 search and destroy. Clutch up just a little bit more, and it could have been a 3-0 the other way. So with that being said, there ends my recap video. Going on 17 minutes. I told you these guys were going to get a little long, especially with how many maps we played. I hope you guys enjoyed my team and I's performance this weekend at regionals, and I hope you guys still support us going into CoD championships. So, y'all have a good one, wherever you're at, afternoon, evening, morning. Have a good, and I'll see you next time. Much love, y'all. Peace out.